Hello and welcome everybody to today's Investor Q&A with Justin Drape and Michael Canning from Exceptional Alien. My name is Temin. I'm one of the campaign managers here at Birchal. As an avid traveller and sucker for trawling the internet to find a trustworthy recommendation, which is a completely overwhelming experience, I might add, I'm so excited to be joined by the team behind Exceptional Alien, the new gen travel platform providing curated personal travel recommendations from exceptional and inspiring talent. So before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners from the land from which I'm beaming to you today. Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So as the licensed intermediary for the offer, Birchal Financial Services is working with Exceptional Alien on their upcoming crowdsourced funding offer. So what is crowdsourced funding, you may ask? It's otherwise known as equity crowdfunding, and it's a relatively new form of fundraising in Australia that allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors and wholesale and sophisticated investors as well through an online platform such as Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can actually turn to the general public, often their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. The information and discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. Please do your own research. Always consider the offer document and general CSF risk warning before investing. There's plenty more information over at birchal.com. So we are recording today's session. So we'll send around the link afterwards to everybody. And essentially what's going to happen, the founders, Michael and Justin, are going to take us through a great presentation, approximately 15-20 minutes. All about Exceptional Alien, where they've come from, where they're going, what they're looking to do with the capital raise. Then we'll switch to the Q&A session. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see the little Q&A bubble down there. Pop any questions you have in there while the guys are presenting, and we'll go through them at the end. So without further ado, over to you, Justin and Michael.
Thanks, Temin. And thank you everybody for joining, and thanks for your interest. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to sharing with you the ride we've been on to date and where we want to go in the future. So I appreciate you taking the time and interest again. Thanks. Just a little summary on Michael and I. As it says, we've got combined 45 plus years experience. Makes us feel quite old, but we've had a pretty good ride when it comes to branded storytelling, building businesses that we have learned in, we've led and ultimately sold as an integrated premium creative business. We've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, so we know how to talk that language and we know how to create compelling stories that are really valuable.
Yeah, we are really excited with Exceptional Alien to essentially be building what we have ambitions to be our own Fortune 500 brand. And when you might have noticed on the first slide, we've called this a community fundraise because we're a platform that has real community behind it, and we're really excited to be opening this up to what we see as a bigger community now of investors and people who can join our journey. So again, thank you everyone for your interest.
And we've had some experience sort of building community internally within agencies that had grown domestically and then became an international entity. And it's been fun, but we think there's a really great opportunity now to expand what we've learned in those businesses and make it a real future-facing business. I'm co-founder of a creative agency called The Monkeys, and that's still going strong today. And that was ultimately acquired by Accenture Interactive in 2017. So a great learning curve and experience, and hopefully we'll take some of those learnings into the future on this next venture, and we've got some really good momentum that we'll share with you now. So in summary, Exceptional Alien is two things: travel media platform, that's a website, mobile app, original entertainment, and curated travel and experiences that we push out on social channels and all those aforementioned platforms. And also a creative studio. We have Exceptional Alien Studio because as we grow, we have access to some of the most exceptional talent in the world. So we're getting opportunities to work with brands in a way that's quite borderless. And if you look at traditional agencies, the way that you walk in the door and you present a brief as a client, and then you get access to a certain creative department and strategic department, etc. What we're doing in a sense is staying quite fluid and open, receiving briefs, and then going and resourcing the most exceptional talent in the world to work on those briefs. And of course, we still fall back on the fundamentals when required, and that's where Michael and I and the growing team can add a lot of value with that experience when it comes to storytelling. And the brands that we've collaborated with today, we've just naturally worked straight into the stories that are required and brought in the best people to capture those and share those. And then if you look at the platform and growing community, just a really helpful background on the name. It was inspired by the US visa, Aliens of Exceptional Ability. Michael was one of those, or I thought the name was quite funny, referred to as an alien. But we love the idea of, you know, what at first feels alien to you actually is ultimately what can bring you closer. And there have been some maybe derogatory views on that, but we're turning into a real positive where it's actually something to celebrate. And what falls under that now, Alien of Exceptional Ability visa, is the arts, you've got business, you've got technology, you have sport, entrepreneurs, we have gamers. So it's quite broad when it comes to who we can appeal to. And it's already proving to allow us to reach out to just some of the most exceptional creators in the world.
Yeah, starting from a place that aliens of exceptional ability, people who are, I guess, lucky enough to travel and live around the world for professional reasons. We've really just realized that there are so many insights in travel that are unique to everybody who loves to travel, and we'll take you through more of those today. But with our name, it always gets attention, but that the exceptional part is what we're really looking to always live up to as we build the platform.
Yeah, that's true. We've already had experiences to create what we're calling, exceptional experiences. We've done a great collaboration with South Africa Tourism. We refer to it as Exceptional South Africa. And when you apply exceptional to anything in travel or tech or art experiences, we're finding that it's quite modular in its application and ultimately valuable. Our mission really be the go-to platform for the modern traveler that's the most trusted and convenient. It's the place to search, plan, and book. And trust and convenience are two of the things that we think we really offer when you compare us to other bigger booking platforms that essentially have a proliferation of fake reviews, misleading, and often frustrating experiences. So we really want to curate an experience that people continually trust, and we build on that. And while we're doing that, we build the power and equity in the brand, and we build that global community. And it's already starting to take shape in a way that we're really excited about. The purpose behind what we're doing is to inspire people to see the world through diverse perspectives. And we've really enjoyed the ride so far in learning and just experiencing that ourselves, where, travel allows you to get personal and professional enrichment. And we've just been experiencing that with a lot of the creators and people and artisans that we meet through this journey. And we're trying to curate that experience and make it accessible to everyone in the world. So when you do go on a travel experience into any culture or place, you can get fully immersed in that and feel like you're getting trusted guidance.
Mm-hmm. So to take you through where we started with the problem, behind the platform that we're building, we, Justin and I have known each other for maybe 20 years. And we, when we started speaking about this problem, we immediately, just thought there's something huge here to solve for travelers all around the world. And if you think about the travel experience that exists today, on the left side of screen, there's such a disparate source of different pieces of media and platforms and places that you'll try to find trusted travel recommendations. So from, blogs, publishers, social media, huge sites like TripAdvisor and so on, no one really knows exactly where to go for that one destination that has all the trusted inspiration that I want, but brings it together with really easily bookable links, so that my experience is so much, I guess, really better and easier as a traveler, but also one that you can trust. And today we're actually seeing, the growth of fake reviews is getting, worse and worse. So people are really trying to find those trusted sources. The other side of the experience is just that, it's been reported up to 38 touch points across travel media for someone to be inspired by a destination and then to book it. So it's a messy experience online. So we've always just wished, when we've traveled, we've always just wished there was that one destination you could go to that has that experience all in one. And that's the insight behind Exceptional Alien that we're building. And as we've spoken to people around the world, from, friends and then wider networks to research groups that we've done, and then building out the platform, and then every single person that we've invited to be on the platform, it's amazing how that experience is shared by so many. So the way we define Exceptional Alien as the platform we're building is that one destination that brings inspiring, authentic travel storytelling and action together in a curated end-to-end experience. So you can go on Exceptional Alien, you can be inspired by a destination, you can find destinations you want to travel to, but where we're going with the platform is to be able to really, book and fulfill your experience right there.
But not only doing that personally, if you see the collect button, you can also initiate travels and inspiration for others. So we're at MVP stage now with the app, but as we evolve that, the experience is going to be a lot more intuitive, where you can curate your own travel playlists, you can share them to friends, so they're fully packaged and ready to go. And that's where we feel like it's a catalyst for trusted recommendations that can grow out from not only our own platforms, but all of the personal experiences that people have and therefore share into their own networks. So we're just waiting to get to that point. We're working towards that point where it feels really intuitive and fluid and ultimately trustworthy and convenient. And we think there's absolutely great value in that.
Yeah, and what Justin's speaking about there, I guess there is a real, community and network effect with the platform that we're building. A quick anecdote, we shared this recently with someone who's a producer, and his name's Nick, and we were talking about all the disparate sources of travel. He was like, "Oh my God, like my nickname's always been Nicky Spreadsheets, because whenever I travel, I put everything into a spreadsheet and then share it." And it's that sharing that people love to do, but there's no real destination that allows you to do that. So to give you a snapshot of the competitive landscape and where Exceptional Alien is sitting and going to continue to grow, the source of travel and booking essentially looks like this. So with our axis to the left, you've got hard to book, so platforms that will potentially give you sources of travel, but you can't book them. And then on the other end, you have utility platforms that are really easy to book, but you don't really find curated or inspiring travel content there. So a couple of examples on the hard to book, you've got, like, for example, Condé Nast or Gourmet Traveler. They'll give you, they're kind of publishers basically. So they'll give you inspiring stories, but you can't book them. In the middle, you have some platforms that kind of start to land in more curated or inspiring content that you can book, but they're not really designed for both. And then if you go towards the other end of the spectrum, easy to book, obviously Expedia, Skyscanner, major booking platforms, that's what they're designed for. But there's no player in the space that really captures both the inspiration and the booking. And that's exactly where Exceptional Alien is sitting and where our huge growth space is globally. So we are creating highly curated content that comes from personal perspectives of exceptional talents all around the world, but we're building the platform to be easily bookable also. So that brings us to the solution that we found. So Exceptional Alien is a trusted global network of exceptional travelers in your pocket.
So think about that feeling when you're traveling to a place that you haven't been to before. The first thing you do is maybe wonder who has been there. Second thing you do is, can you call them? Sometimes you think, do I want to call them? We've had people feedback saying, oh, I'm in town and I don't necessarily want to reach out to somebody and turn it into a big event. I just want to actually go somewhere that I know is going to be an enjoyable and memorable experience. So this is this is one of those opportunities where we feel like people can travel the globe and feel like they're connected through a global community of people they trust. And while you might not be able to ring up Dermot Kennedy, a great Irish singer, and say, hey, Dermot, I'm hitting Dublin, what do I do? You can actually get his travel playbook. He'll be there with audio and he'll recommend some of his favorite places. And there's a predisposition to trusting him if you like his music, and if you just think he seems like a good guy, and he's going to put his, face, brand, and reputation against those recommendations. That's a real point of differentiation. And we've already really said what we do is sharing the travel experiences of the exceptional talent. And we just wanted to give you guys a breakdown of, website, mobile app, and the original entertainment, and of course the social channels that are all growing. The mobile app is one thing that we are focusing on next. We have an amazing talent coming internally to help us optimize that and push it out to become an amazing tool to travel with.
Yeah. We started with the travel experiences of friends, and then friends of friends, and the network of talent that share their travels with us now has actually really started quite organically. We now have a system where whenever we invite someone to be featured on Exceptional Alien, we ask them if they'd like to nominate someone else, which works really well. So, everyone that we invite says, yeah, you should speak to my friend X who's in so-and-so destination. And that community and network side of the platform has been really strong from day one. And we're really looking forward to now, I guess, taking that to the next level at this stage.
Just an overview of some of the people that are already in the community. We have Grammy Award winners, Olympic gold medalists, creative leaders, and heads of industry. As it says, combined, they have a following of over 50 million people just on socials alone. And then the inbound requests that are starting to happen are really positive and exciting for us, where we're currently in conversations with music labels around the world who have reached out and said, hey, our artists are touring, they're going to X place, would you guys like to do a travel playbook with them? We just received one this week, actually, for someone that filmed a pretty epic music video in Mongolia and Tokyo. And they have all the behind the scenes footage that they're going to share on their travel playbook. So that just is a small example of how we don't have to scale by going to Mongolia and actually filming it all ourselves, but we've got a really renowned artist who's going to reach out and give us all of the insights because he wants to be a part of Exceptional Alien and what we're building. We didn't initiate that conversation, it's just happened, and that's just one example. It's also happening in fashion when it's happening in other areas throughout the arts. So that's really great thing where you start feeling the inbound signals and the cultural momentum of the brand and what you're building, and then people start reaching out and wanting to be a part of it. Been on that journey before with some previous entities, and it's an exciting place to be. We've got a lot further to go, but it's definitely very encouraging.
Yeah, and just a few quick examples of people in our community so far. I mean, Mick Fanning, famous Australian surfer and entrepreneur. Mick's actually shared two travel experiences with us. One was the Gold Coast, and the other was in Jeffreys Bay, South Africa, which is a place that he loves and is actually famous for punching a shark. And he shared his recommendations and travel playbook, as we call it, for Jeffreys Bay, which would be places he loves to eat, drink, hang out with friends, even places to play golf, places to stay. So every person on our platform, that it's coming from their personal lens and it's trusted.
And someone like Adele Lim, who is up there in the green top, she's the writer and director of Crazy Rich Asians, Raya and the Last Dragon, Disney film. And she takes audiences on a really beautiful journey through Koreatown in LA. And if you happen to like her movies, it's a good example of, you can't necessarily land in LA and reach out to Adele, but just having her generosity and insights and guidance in her travel playbook is a really nice experience. And then below her, you'll see Nadaba Mandela, who did a similar thing in Soweto. He takes the audience through the family home. And it was the family home where he was raised by his, famous grandfather, Nelson Mandela, and Winnie Mandela. And he takes the audience around the local area, where to get some good barbecue, where to go for a bike ride. And again, just going to that country and being able to access some recommendations from probably one of the most famous names in the country, or famous families in the country, is quite a special thing. And he's a good example of a creator who we've continued the conversation with, and he'd love to continue involvement with Exceptional Alien. And there are other experiences that we've been discussing, and that's where we start taking what an exceptional experience is and can be into real life. And then people will be able to come and meet someone like Nadaba when it's wrapped up into a real life experience. So that's just one part of the business we're not covering today, but definitely worth mentioning. And then, the original product and IP that we're really excited about, the travel playbooks, we ultimately want to make these a household name, in a sense, a 21st century version of itinerary. But it's frictionless, it's trustworthy, it's shareable, and ultimately useful because it's bookable. And they are the recommendations curated by these exceptional creators. And as you see there with the buttons, you can search, collect, curate, plan, and book. We are only at MVP stage, but we're really excited about the way that you can go to all of the must-visit spots and the way that you can share them. And the feedback we've got today has been really positive about people actually having great experiences in places they don't know much about. We actually only heard, what's today? Yeah, Friday. On Wednesday, we only heard someone give us good feedback on an Adelaide travel playbook that we've done. And they said they had no idea what to do when they went there, but they looked up Exceptional Alien, and thankfully they had a really great time as a result. So we're really excited about building this out and making travel playbooks like a household, reference point.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way that we're designing it, going back to the insight that we mentioned earlier, where we always wish there was that simple destination. We're building the technology to essentially we see it a bit like Spotify, but for travel. Where you think about the way that you could see it could be any music streaming where you have an album and songs. The way that we're designing travel playbooks is that you have someone's travel playbook for a destination, then within that you have their recommendations. So you can see them all. You can see the kind of high level inspiration, like someone like Chantel Martin on screen here, who shared her travel playbook for New York. It's got her, why New York inspires her, why she loves it, she lives there, but then what are the really specific places that she recommends going to? And then they're shareable and collectible for the audience. We just have a short video to play, which is really just a quick video to take you through an outline of how the app is designed.
I love the foundation Louis Vuitton. It feels like an earthbound ship in Paris that was designed by one of my favorite architects, Wurundjeri.
Again, it is that tough.
Cool.
Quite an abrupt stop.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So just wanted to share that just to give you an idea of where the product's going in terms of the interactivity. And we're so excited about that. You can see the MVP state on the App Store, on the app stores at the moment. So jumping into what traction we've had to date as a platform. So to give you all a quick snapshot. So firstly, commercial partnerships. So as we've built Exceptional Alien as a platform and really built those foundations of all the exceptional talent that is sharing their travel recommendations and experiences with us, we've started working with different brands in the travel space. So we've worked with Visit Victoria, 100% Pure New Zealand, Atut France. We did a big project with South Africa Tourism that Justin was mentioning just earlier. Someone like Nadaba Mandela was part of that. We've worked with Free Ride World Tour and DC Shoes. And we actually have this year, we launched a major partnership with Skyscanner, which is very exciting in that Skyscanner being, one of the top 3 major booking platforms around the world. We're now working with Skyscanner as part of the, how to make that booking process on their website much more inspiring and engaging for people. If you go to the bottom left quadrant there, we entered our South Africa tourism work into the Skift Idea Awards, which is the sort of #1, I guess, travel accreditation and publisher in the industry. And we won the Industry Innovator for Tourism Award, which is great. And just that's one of those pieces that as a new and young brand, it's great to sort of get that global recognition and accreditation. So we're excited about that. Then going into partnerships. So as we grow, our ambitions are obviously global. So partnerships are an important part of how we can build and distribute and get Exceptional Alien and what we offer in front of people globally. So we have some partnerships that have come together really this year and are helping us build a lot of momentum. So the first one is Modern Luxury Media. So in America, and that's America's largest luxury media company. And we'll take you guys through a little bit more detail on that in a moment. But we have a partnership with them and also their new streaming platform, MLux. I've mentioned Skyscanner already. South by Southwest Sydney, we've been involved in. Exceptional Alien and Justin were actually on stage at South by Southwest Sydney yesterday. We're working with Warner Music Group, Future Classic as well. And we have a relationship with CAA, who are a global talent management agency in the US. And as an example, South by Southwest Sydney yesterday, it was awesome seeing Exceptional Alien up on stage, and we had, an up and coming singer-songwriter on stage with us from Warner Music Group. So that's how, when we think about talent and how talent can share their travels, that's how the ecosystem that we're building is really coming together.
Yeah, this particular artist, the young artist who was born in Africa, actually, and moved when he was 2 to Wollongong, and has since returned to Africa and spent some time traveling through the USA, and just really uses travel to inspire his thinking and his writing and ultimately the output of some of his music. And it was a really beautiful story, actually. You just talked about how it's helped him grow personally. He's only 22. And then we shared the stage with another renowned artist who also had just been on a residency in Sardinia. And we released her travel playbook yesterday, which is another good example of how having a renowned artist who spent months or, a couple of weeks, the residency, I think, went for about 3 weeks in Sardinia. And then she was able to capture the beauty of that place, where to go, and get those sort of insights that are really valuable. And we're really thankful that she could share those.
Yeah. And some press and appearances. So, you guys can see the logos there, but we've been featured in Forbes. We've had a mix of PR and press appearances, particularly with organic press. So, Channel 9 picked up Exceptional Alien organically, which was great to see, because you can obviously present your story in press, but it's always good that people pick it up. And we've done other, Australian Financial Review, South by, Channel 7, and more. But really in the spirit of sharing the inspiring stories of the people that are on our platform, but getting Exceptional Alien into audiences that are continually growing so that we can share the platform. And another quick video, this one's a little shorter. This one just is to recap what we did with Skyscanner. This was a launch video for the platform.
I found you. I found you. I found you exploding. I found you.
Yeah, so as you can see with that, it was a really good complementary partnership collaboration where we were creating stories that would inspire people to immerse themselves in culture. And then Skyscanner was the enablement as a platform that would push them through. They've got a substantial audience, I think over 100 million people visiting every month. So it's giving the brand good exposure, and it's been a really great experience. We've really enjoyed working with the team, and hopefully there'll be many more collaborations like that to come. We are in discussions with other major brands around the world, and some of them are quite advanced. So yeah, we're really feeling positive about the opportunities there.
And yeah, I mean, as Justin just said, knowing that there's 100 million people that go to Skyscanner each month, Exceptional Alien's role is really to help direct people in the direction of just destinations, but in a way that they're really inspired by these exceptional creators. So essentially, we're helping build an end-to-end experience that's just much more valuable for travelers. And the second major partnership that I mentioned a moment ago is with Modern Luxury in the US. So Modern Luxury have a big reach across the whole of the US, and they've recently launched MLux, which is a streaming platform. And that gives Exceptional Alien, as an official partner of Modern Luxury Media and MLux, a distribution reach in the US of 150 million households. So being available on Vizio, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So all the storytelling that we do is now going to that audience. And you can see on the right there, that's the Exceptional Alien channel, which you can find if you check out MLux, that's in the US. And just quickly, Exceptional Alien by the numbers right now, you know, we're obviously growing globally, but wanted to share this snapshot of where we're at. So we break it down into, I guess, three verticals here. One, Exceptional Alien Talent Network. So the talent that we have more than 500 featured creators on our platform already, and we're adding talent now daily. And a big part of that is, you know, the inbound requests. So that kind of tipping point where, you know, you start a platform like this that's community driven, where we're inviting people, and we still are, and they then nominate others, but we just have a lot of people sort of reaching out, and different platforms and, you know, brands, etc., reaching out to suggest talent now, which helps accelerate our growth. 33 different cultural backgrounds with all the people that are featured, 20 featured countries, and around a 50 million collective reach of just those talent featured so far. So there's a huge collective reach that continues to grow with our platform. The second is strategic partners. So as I mentioned, 150 million MLux streaming audience. Skyscanner, 100 million visitors a month. With Modern Luxury Media, that gives us access to 750 experiential events a year. They have a reach of 50 million digital audience in the US and 16 million in print. And then on our owned platforms, so for Exceptional Alien, 58% of our audience is from the US and Oceania, which we see as a really great thing in terms of our I guess global growth, and where we're looking to really push in this next phase of growth. Our platform has an average of 3 minutes session time, which is 3 times the travel industry average. 1.5 million social media accounts reached per month, and that continues to go up. And as our community continues to grow, the social reach of our platform just continues to grow organically. We have 1.5 million social media followers on owned and affiliate accounts, and 20,000 people are visiting the web features every month. But collectively, that's quite a big reach that we already have. But we know we're a young platform, but I guess where we're now going with, you know, our global expansion, we're very excited by.
Mike, I might just jump in and mention with Modern Luxury Media, you can see the caliber of talent that feature on their titles that appear in 22 markets across America. And we've just returned from a trip in New York where we met the owners of that platform, and I guess that company has, you know, the largest luxury media company in America. And because they have access to some amazing talent, also we've talked about ways that we can combine what that title cover experience might be. We can't guarantee anything right now, but we're pretty excited about some of the talent that we're talking to and about featuring. So you can imagine just seeing that cover there. If you were going to do a travel playbook for a certain destination, it suddenly makes a title like Manhattan or Angelino fully immersive, quite shareable, but also evergreen in value, because you're not necessarily putting it at the bottom of the birdcage. Once you're done with the magazine, it doesn't end up in the trash.
Yeah, a number we don't have on that slide there is they have 85 different titles across the US market.
Yeah. And this is the organization today. We have a really great world-class team who are making all of this possible. You can see some of the brands that the team have come from. We're really thrilled about the lineup, and everybody's working their hardest to make Exceptional Alien a household name and success. As you see up there, we've got product development, media, creative storytelling, and some of the people are based in Australia, USA, and Europe. And when we say USA, we're talking about New York. We have access immediately to a studio in LA. We have some pretty great creative talent in LA, and we have a couple of people that used to be overseeing global operations when it comes to creative partnerships with Google. They were there for approximately 10 years. So we're really excited and really proud, what everyone's creating together there. We have some people that have joined us. One person in particular from Apple recently, who's helping us optimize the app experience, and he's spent many years there, both in Cupertino and also in Sydney, working closely with that team. So he's very well versed in what he can create, and he's seen the opportunity to do something really special with travel and connecting people to culture via technology.
Yeah, we're also a certified B Corp, which really the headline of that is our platform being in a space that is powered by a community and people who care about the travel experiences, but also care about how people travel, has given us that accreditation. It's something that we're proud of, but looking to really be, I guess, when we think about our purpose and inspiring people to see the world through diverse perspectives, how do people travel now and into the future in a way that is sustainable and great for travelers, but also for communities that they travel to.
Yeah, I might just also spend a little bit more time on the people, because ultimately, the people make this what it can become. And if you look over on the left, you've got John Eagleton, our COO, who formerly a partner at Kingwood Mallisons. He's helping us build the infrastructure and bringing a lot of, obviously legal insight and wherewithal, but not just that, he's actually been an amazing force behind growing what we're doing globally and setting up relationships, because he comes from that background. Next to him, we've got Roberta McDonald, who worked at Google for over 10 years in New York as the former head of creative partnerships. She's now in New York today, actually, chatting to a client, but she's based in London at the moment. Next to her, you have her former colleague who was also at Google, John Bundesland, who's in LA. Then we have Chris Adams next to him. Chris has helped build media agencies around the world. One of the most notable is Naked Media. So he's come on as our CFO. Then we have Chloe, who worked at Vox Media, helping us in production. Chloe essentially helps us do everything. She's quite amazing and well versed in everything from storytelling to HR. Next to Chloe, we have Brody Carr, who used to be the managing director of Tourism Western Australia. And before that, he was the CEO of World Surfing League. He's got some really great relationships and connections into travel groups around the world and other lifestyle brands. Then we have Adam Johnson, who is now our head of tech and product. Adam is the guy that used to work at Apple. Before that, he actually worked in New York, had his own digital agency. He worked for a year with Kanye West and others. So he's very well connected when it comes to cultural figures, but also creating sort of digital experiences that are at the forefront of pop culture. Next to Adam, we have Tom Flanagan, who's an amazing, well-experienced executive producer and producer in America. He's part of our team in New York, and he's connecting us to everybody from some pretty major global brands, but he's working out of the Modern Luxury Media HQ on Park Avenue with Heather, who is next to him, smiling. And Heather is absolutely amazing as a producer and deal broker, and she's connecting us to a lot of other great brands in America and beyond also. Next to Heather, we have Julia, who's an amazing writer from Brazil, who writes in her second language, English, actually better than most of us, and has connected us to some of the great music figures around the world. Then we have Anthony and we have Tara, who work in our studio. We have Joe Dale, who is helping us with business in London. He's on the ground there. And then we have Prasad, who's helping us build out a lot of the technology with Adam. So core full-time team, and then we expand with services required all around the world. So you can imagine with this network, we can reach out and get in the right expertise every time we need it. Part of, the challenge is having opportunities in front of us that we can't capitalize on immediately, and that's why we're having this conversation, so we can get the funding in and just go for it in every way.
So to just break down our audience and global market opportunity. So what we've seen, particularly post-pandemic, there's a new era of travelers that have emerged, and it's a very travel-hungry global market, as I'm sure everyone on this call today knows. You can see that travel's come back in a very big way after the pandemic, and the largest segment of travelers that it's come out of, I guess, this new world of travel is what you'd call the luxury travel market, but it's luxury in a new definition of, in the sense that it's not so much the traditional, luxury defined by just premium experiences or, things that are expensive, but it's more about tapping into, unique, trusted, meaningful, great experiences. We'd like to say exceptional, right? That people can really get, under the skin of a destination and really, tap into the culture. So people are looking for ways to, and seeking out, the platforms that will deliver those types of experiences. And that's where Exceptional Alien is really playing. A few quick market stats. It's got a 7.6 compounding annual growth rate. That segment of the market is projected at 2.32 trillion by 2030. So an overall $9 trillion industry is global travel by 2030, but it's huge, and it's one of the largest growing industries today. The other piece of data here that's interesting is online travel actually has one of the largest cart abandonment rates. So if you think of that vision that we have of bringing the inspiration and the booking together, that is a huge opportunity for us to really capitalize on, where people can be inspired and book in one place.
And it's the inspiration is one thing, but it's also the trust and the predisposition that you would have as somebody shopping or looking for an experience. If somebody that you really rate from the community is suggesting that you go through and experience something because they've been there themselves and they vouch for it, it's a really powerful advocacy.
Yeah. And another quick breakdown of who is that modern traveler? Who is this person who's seeking these types of experiences? We've done our own research. We have so much data, but we wanted to just pull out a few pieces for you today that can really, I guess, exemplify, who this traveler is and what these behaviors are. So firstly, 92% of consumers trust recommendations from friends above all other sources. So when you think about the EA community sharing their travel experiences, that plays right into our platform. And they're 4 times more likely customers are 4 times more likely to buy a product or service that's referred by friends. 72% of young affluents, so that new luxury category, prefer to spend their money on experiences rather than material objects. And they're 200% higher. You get a 200% higher spend from customers acquired through word of mouth than the average customer. So when someone recommends something, they're likely to spend 200% more. 57% of young affluents are willing to pay for trusted curation. So our platform being highly curated plays right into that space. And 200% higher spend from customers acquired through word of mouth. as I mentioned. So really what that illustrates is that when you look at trusted travel recommendation, it equals commerce at the back end, because we can bring trust, inspiration, and booking together.
Just want to point out the 92% and just mention to everybody on the call, just think about all the times that it's so easy just to go to friends and family, because ultimately you trust those recommendations. And it's really key for us to create something that will have that predisposition to trust, because there's going to be such value in it. Anecdotally, just share this experience where last January, happened to get maybe 4 days off with my wife in Brooklyn, and the obvious thing to do is reach out to friends and say, hey, we're coming, where should we go, what do we do? But we decided to actually use Exceptional Alien only, and we didn't catch up with anybody while we were there. And I'm pleased to say it really worked. We got to travel around. We stayed at 2 hotels in Brooklyn. We went to an amazing bowling bar. We saw a comedy night, and we did a few other things that I won't repeat on the call, but they were all essentially initiated through Exceptional Alien, where they would recommend some of the creators for us to go off and try these things that I honestly just hadn't, known of before, only through meeting the creators or curating the actual recommendations via the interviews. So it was really a great experience, and I told the guys as soon as we spoke after that, hey, this really works, we know it does, but it's just nice to actually go out there and experience it. And just another experience on that was with Colette Dinigan, where while interviewing, she took us around the Southern Highlands, and it was a place that I've been to many times before, but she was so generous and insightful in showing us around the places that she likes to go to, most of which I had never been to. And I just walked away that day going, wow, this is amazing. If people can get an experience like that so seamlessly through an app, it's really going to work.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was good to hear that it worked.
Yeah. I mean, it's just personal experiences, we're not just putting out data and tech and hoping it works. Like we're getting the response from people that are, going through the experience, and we're going through it ourselves. So just worth sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. And, we have, just to give you a little bit about our audience and demographics, 168 visited countries to our own platforms and growing. So, we're seeing that other people are thinking that this experience works too. So that's always great to see. That's our top 10 countries by audience. So Australia, being Australian, which is where we've started, but US number 2, then the UK and others. Top locations, we're continually building out locations, but there are top locations there. And particularly, when you think about going back to that idea of the fastest growing travel audience post-pandemic, if you look at that graph there, young affluent travelers is where we hit hardest, and that is exactly that audience. We break down at a pretty much a equal split of male and female, which is also really good to see. But it's that audience that we're really just looking to capture and provide a service and a product for that's super valuable and just makes your travel experience better.
Okay, so we'll talk through the ways that we make money. At the moment, brand commissions and collaborations, it's an obvious place to start. We've worked with some really great travel and tourism brands, lifestyle brands. We've got more coming in that area. And then other brands that are looking to essentially talk through and with a community versus at a community, which is becoming really, really valuable for brands. You might have read about or noticed that people are starting to completely distrust what were called influencers, or still are called influencers, because ultimately it's very transactional. You can see why the person's there. They're not necessarily an expert at what they do. They might just have a lot of followers, and they're flogging product, and there's no sincerity or authenticity to it in any way. The thing is, what we're doing with the creators here, everyone that turns up to work on a commercial project, they're only going to do it if they really believe in it, and it's authentic. Like, it's authentic by default, because ultimately none of these creators are going to get involved in something they don't believe. So that's really been quite exciting for us. And we think it will continue to become more and more valuable as people are looking for those authentic stories. Number two, we're licensing and basically licensing out some of the content we've already created. And we're going to be bringing in more and more advertising revenue as we distribute and grow the platform. We've been able to license things out into Southern Europe and other markets to date, and we'll continue to do that as we build up the archive of what we're creating. And then the travel booking, obviously now we can go through to booking particular venues, but we're extending this out into other categories that will really allow us to scale, and that will be in sync with the optimization of the app and some of the other partnerships that we're initiating and talking to at the moment. And then how do we generate value for shareholders? So 3 long-term enterprise value strategy positions here. So you've got the platform transition, where that's going to basically become a smarter way to travel for people. We spoke about this throughout the entire presentation, where becomes a go-to, frictionless, trustworthy, and convenient experience. We feel like the more we absolutely nail that, the more people are going to actually share it and become ambassadors for us. Then there's the global brand and original catalogue of multimedia that referred to a moment ago when it comes to licensing it out. Something like MLux, for example, that you can see up on the top of the screen there. We're now putting our content into that channel, which goes into 150 million US homes every month. And we can keep feeding curated content through that with or without brands. And that's just one part and one, I guess, channel that we're focusing on. Immediately as we grow the our own channels, that will be something that becomes more and more valuable for all the obvious reasons. And then another thing we're really excited about is the audiences, everyone and everywhere. We'd like to say that what we're doing is exceptional, but it's not exclusive. So there's something in it for everyone. If you happen to like surfing and you want to get a great travel playbook from a world champion surfer, there's something there for you. If you like Irish music, Dermot Kennedy, you know, he's a guy that will take you around Dublin. But we have Michelin star chefs, we have people that are absolutely at the top of their game when it comes to what they do. And that's where, as we keep optimizing the platform, you'll be able to, you already can, but you'll be able to more and more just go in, all right, I'm going to said destination and here are all the options that I'll get immediately. And you can really pick and mix what you like, depending on if it's food, if it's music, if it's fashion, if it's like architecture, it might be something else, but that's something that we're quite excited about because obviously it bodes well for scalability.
Yeah, when we think about that, transition the world to a smarter way to travel, travel playbooks, and what we're building with, you know, powered by community, travel powered by community, is a universal insight. So, you know, people need trusted recommendations everywhere in the world. So our ambition is to be in geographies everywhere in the world and be able to offer that product utility and ultimately service to people all over the globe.
I might just jump in quickly because we've got 2 minutes left. We are going to run a bit over time, obviously, because we've got quite a few questions to get through. But if anybody has to jump off, I just want to let you know we will be sending around the recording after this and all of the key terms of the offer. So the valuation, the minimum max price, what the company is looking to raise will be available in the offer document when the investment offer goes live in coming weeks. So just keep your eye out on that. You can also reach out to the Exceptional Alien team directly through their company profile on the Birchal platform. I just want to preface that, and back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your investment in the future of travel. So to date, we've raised 7.9 Australian million, and that's by strategic seed investors. And we're really thankful for that and have a great relationship with all of them. We have 4 growth pillars that the community funding will support. We've alluded or mentioned some of the things already, but original content and distribution partnerships. We're going to be able to capitalize on the commercial opportunities that are happening with us, where we can create original entertainment and evergreen content that lives on the travel playbooks and channels like Modern Luxury Media. We'll expand that across all of our other strategic partner channels. 2, global scale of the tech product that we've mentioned throughout, where we're really excited about going from MVP to a really intuitive app and platform that essentially helps that frictionless experience. And the more people use it, the more they'll come back and the more they'll share it. And then the PR and awareness, as we know, PR and awareness is key to building any brand. Thankfully, that's one of our superpowers when it comes to building the story and awareness about brands. But we have been almost frustratingly patient to this day where we need to get the product right so people continue to come back, because you don't want people to turn up and there's tumbleweed and they go, yeah, that was okay. We want it to genuinely be exceptional. We want people to come in for their daily dose of inspiration, cultural immersion, and ways to experience travel through the lens of these creators. Some of the creators that we're talking to around the world that we haven't announced yet will be coming on as aliens at large. So they'll be contributing from global cities around the world. And some of them have quite a profile. Some of them are famous. So yeah, we're very excited about that, and that will be coming out in a few months. And then audience growth. SEO is obviously one way to do it, where we continually appear at the top of the funnel. Michael talked about it earlier, where we're really going to double down on what exceptional is and can be. So you talk about exceptional travel, there's going to be exceptional music, exceptional experiences in fashion, design, food. We'll always be pushing that idea of what we're doing as a cultural platform will be exceptional. And we've got a pretty great team, world-class team actually, pretty great, really undersells, but world-class team in helping us do that. And that's something that we'll be able to share as we continue to grow. And it's also helped us with partnerships like Skyscanner and some of the other aforementioned partnerships to date. So this is the part where we say, join us. Is that your part, Mike?
Yeah, look, we just wanted to recap, I guess, what are 5 key reasons to invest in Exceptional Alien, and why we're excited to put an investment offer to the market at this stage. So our ambitions are to be the next Fortune 500 travel brand and platform, and that is where we're going. The first is product market fit. So we know we have a proven product market fit for the idea of travel powered by community. And the community that's growing, it continues to grow, and it's really strong and only getting stronger. We have, Justin's just really covered this, powerful brand momentum. Exceptional Alien is something that's resonated with people to be involved in since day one. But the idea of exceptional and exceptional travel experiences, and how a travel experience can become, how can we make it more exceptional for people all around the world, is growing really strong. The market size, which we've covered, I guess, as you'd sort of think of it as like the size of prize for investors is almost unrivaled, really. When you think about 2030 and where the market is going, we're positioned to capture that new era of traveler in a big way. So that's where we want to open up to a community to get behind Exceptional Alien, because together we can actually capture that demand and build ourselves as the global platform that becomes the go-to. The world-class team, loved sharing the people that are working with us behind Exceptional Alien across tech, media, creative, and finance backgrounds and more. And again, like, we've all come together because we really believe in this problem that we're solving, and we want the world to have this product. And then the last, global scalability, as I've just mentioned earlier, transitioning the world to a smarter and more connected way to travel. It's a fun journey to be on, but if we can all look back and see travel playbooks in the hands of people around the world and Exceptional Alien in the hands of people around the world, we know that the way we're building the platform is built to do that. So we can be in every geography around the world, and we can expand to every language around the world. But what a journey it will be to be able to look back on that and achieve that together.
And how we see the future, we would love for travel playbooks to be ubiquitous in 2028, where you can be traveling in the subway in New York and you go, all right, I'm going to Brooklyn. I'm going to download Spike Lee's travel playbook. He might recommend that you go to an amazing museum or a great place to buy vinyl or pizza or a park where he gets inspired continually. Maybe the house where he lived, grew up. All of those things are really exciting for us. And we, as it says there, you know, we're building a global community and we want the brand to become a household name and known as the most trusted source of travel inspiration and, you know, actionable kind of utility. And the key part there with community, we're really honored and thrilled that we've been able to build this community today with some of the most exceptional creators around the world. We love the idea that travel experience is powered by that community for a global community of people that love travel. And we also love the idea of having a community like you guys that are investing in this. So it goes around in a really nice way. And when we first started on this endeavor with Temin and the team, we talked about, you know, rather than calling it crowdfunding race, could we call it a community funded race? Because we just love that idea that people that are in the community live it and believe in it and ultimately help make it happen. So we're really excited about this. The two people that I mentioned up there, Ariana Grande and Spike Lee, just happen to be CAA clients. And as Michael mentioned earlier, we've spoken to CAA about, you know, ongoing partnerships and opportunities. So we genuinely believe that this can happen in 2028. Thank you.
Awesome. Watch this space. Thank you so much, guys, for such an insightful presentation. That was just awesome. Keeping in mind that we are over time now, I'm going to try and group a few questions together, and any that are left unanswered, you can reach out to the guys directly via their emails, or that they can send over their follow-up questions as well. If we have a few questions here about, again, how Exceptional Alien makes money, and I guess what you see as the biggest revenue growth driver. Is it through partnerships, or will it be like a B2C or subscription model? Yeah, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, look, B2C subscription model is something that we're really excited about the potential of. So we are talking to a couple of entities about how creators can commercialize their travels. And the obvious areas are musicians who travel around the world continually, they tour. So they know places that become like their second home. And they have their favorite coffees, they have their favorite, you know, fashion people in those places, parks, restaurants, etc. So we feel like there's a huge opportunity to do that. At the moment, we're just focusing on building up the commercial partnerships and the actual fundamentals of what the platform is. But if you think theoretically about someone like Ariana Grande, who has millions and millions of followers, if she was to release a travel playbook, and you could download that for the cost of a coffee, which is more than reasonable, or a song, she's got the opportunity to make a substantial amount of money, and we would too, of course.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. And the app is currently free for people to use just in general. Will it ever be like the barrier at the front door, like to people to pay to download the app or have an account?
Yeah, at the moment, similar to what Spotify used as a strategy, we want to open it up and have no barriers to entry for people, so it's free. And we want to, you know, continually get millions and millions of people to come on, and then there will probably be a bifurcation where you can opt in for, you know, a subscription experience, which you don't have to experience ads or other parts of that. Or you can just continue with some of the ads. That's one way to go. And as you guys know, maybe, you know, when Spotify was released in 2006, it took them 5 years to actually move to the US. And what they did was they opened up a 6-month trial that was funded by advertising. So it continued to be free for millions of people to come in and experience it. So it's quite a good methodology actually. And we're talking to some great global brands at the moment about being partners and have to make all of those hit at the right inflection point.
Yeah, well, just to elaborate on that, something we wouldn't do is start for free and then turn that off and make it all paid. So we always want to continue to be a platform that everyone can benefit from, as for travelers all around the world. But with that new era of travelers, we see that people are definitely willing to pay for curation. So to Justin's point, it starts to become almost like a membership and subscription, and that, I guess, is that sort of B2C model that we're really excited about. And as we've been building the foundations, just learning a lot about, there's a huge potential to go in that direction. So we're really excited about it.
Thank you. I've got another question here about the content itself. How do you balance the need to grow the volume of content on the platform, but also ensure that it's still well curated? And to layer onto that, how do you ensure that the content's kept up to date?
Yeah, that's a good and ultimately, if we've got the answer, a valuable question, and we think we do. So what has happened to date, which has been fantastic, is since we've released the app, we've actually had people voluntarily reaching out, asking if they could become part of the community and offering to do travel playbooks, create their own travel playbooks in places as far away as Marrakesh or, as I mentioned, Mongolia. So we're building a platform where they will be able to submit travel playbooks to us and ultimately go out and create the stories. You would submit your bio and you would submit your story and your assets, etc., that we would then curate, so we can scale up substantially when we do that. We would ultimately still curate it and vet it so it comes out and it does remain exceptional, but we can set up a studio that can facilitate that, and it takes out so much cost when it comes to production. And the fact that we're already getting signals with pretty well-known creators reaching out, wanting to be a part of it, is really encouraging for us.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. It's something that we actually define as curation at scale. So, oftentimes you can go completely open source or you can go completely curated, but we want to build the platform in a way that, we can invite people in and we take out those points of friction, but we always maintain the exceptional curation that people, are coming to expect from our brand and our platform.
Thank you. And with these creators, I guess the bigger, more well-known creators that you have on your platform, how do you pay these creators? Is it a lot of people coming to you? Is it more of a partnership? How does that work?
Yeah, the interesting dynamic there. At the moment, we've not paid any of the creators that have appeared to actually appear on Exceptional Alien. But what transpires is brands are reaching out to us more and more and saying, could we do a project? Can we collaborate on this program of work? Who could we work with? And because we have some amazing creators already on the platform, we are by no means a booking agency, but when brands reach out and say, oh, do you think we could connect with X creator and do something? And we're absolutely. And it's happening more and more. So we're really excited about that. We'll reach out and we try and play the right protocol where we go to the agents and we don't necessarily go to talent directly, but in sometimes we're, some cases we're being slapped over the wrist, we're going directly to talent. But yeah, that's one way that it's working really well, where we can actually get access to some of this exceptional talent. And then the talent are really pleased because they're already part of Exceptional Alien, and then we're curating a commercial experience and outcome for them. And they're not going to, as I mentioned earlier, do anything they don't really believe in. So I think everybody wins, and the rules of engagement are really clear when that happens. And another thing that's happened is really quite a nice thing for us is that when we do talk to talent that, say, for example, they're musicians or, people that are in fashion or food, what they really like about Exceptional Alien is the actual ability to talk about a place that inspires them and show a new dimension to them and their brand, because they often ask the same questions. Like, you can imagine musicians, they turn up and you have music journalists and they ask them all about the same songs and they ask them about various tours, and they feel like they go on this sort of loop where suddenly they're turning up and they can talk about something that really means a lot to them. Like, the artist we referred to yesterday, Stephen, talking about his home country of Africa, he kind of, you could just see him light up about that and what it means to him. And he was really thankful that he could get up and share that on stage with people. That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, a good example is the work that we did with Tourism South Africa. So in that project, Tourism South Africa wanted to showcase South Africa through an inspiring lens for people. So we thought, let's celebrate and showcase South Africa through the lens of exceptional talents. We then curated 10 talents and we shared their travel playbook for destinations all over the country. And because we were being commissioned by South Africa Tourism, we paid those talents to be part of it. But day to day, I guess the appeal of Exceptional Alien and generosity of creators and talents to share their travels, that they do that for free.
I think generally the talent, around the world that we're continually meeting and inviting onto the platform, really like being a part of it, as long as the rules of engagement are really clear. And if we get any commercial opportunities, we're really transparent about what that is. And as Michael just mentioned, with South Africa Tourism, we were able to curate that list of talent, and all of the fees and everything was really clear up front. And I think everyone's really excited about being part of that. And then if we were to extend that into other areas, or the licensing needs to be renewed, then the talent would also continue to talk to us about that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've got another question regarding the talent. So it would appear that most of the contributors on your platform are all successful people in their chosen field, and therefore would have healthy bank accounts to match. Does this mean that there's a risk of the recommendations being priced out of reach for something like, say, for example, a budget-conscious traveller?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is the questions that you ask. We ask deliberately the creators. We talk about green spaces that are accessible to all in London. We talk about areas that everybody can access, because we're big believers in the value of public spaces. And one of the examples that we refer to is when we spoke to Maurice Tassini, restaurateur behind Icebergs and some of the other iconic places this country has experienced. He talks about going out west to Parramatta, but he also talks about going to Marks Park, which is right near the Icebergs. And it's a way that you can go down to Harris Farms, get some wine and prosciutto, and basically turn up there with the family and enjoy $50 million views that are free ultimately. And we were really mindful of that. We don't want it to be exclusive in a sense. We want it, as I said, want it to be exceptional, but not exclusive. So want people to go to places that are recommended, public art galleries, other experiences. And one of the things we haven't talked about on this call, but has become really apparent, what the audience loves is the why behind the what. So there's a recommendation from a creator, hey, go to the Art Gallery of New South Wales. It's like, why are you telling me to go there? Like, why do you think that it's really great? And can share with you guys I guess a thing that's coming out next week with Tony Wheeler, who's the founder of Lonely Planet. We had the pleasure of interviewing him last week, and he does essentially a global travel playbook, because he's traveled places you can't contain it into one destination. And just him talking about the literary influences of the places that he's been to and why, and his love of Brett Whiteley and how that has shaped his experience in Sydney alone. It was just fascinating. So it's that why behind the what that's actually really quite powerful. And that's where we've got a point of difference, because if you go on to other behemoth platforms, they don't necessarily have a genuine why. It's just like, go here because it's here. And then come on and give fake reviews, and they undercut it or underwrite it because they're competitors. And you end up discombobulated, not quite knowing what to trust. But getting that why is really valuable. Yeah,
it's the piece with Lonely Planet, I was thinking of calling it Exceptional Alien Meets Lonely Planet, so it should be fun.
No, that is so exciting.
It's actually it's turning 50 years this month. So we were fortunate enough to meet in London and do an interview, and it was quite an experience.
Oh, I'm jealous. We might wrap up with one final question here. And the question is, what is your end game plan? Do you plan to sell to a global publisher like Condé Nast or news or global travel booking brand like Skyscanner? And before you answer, obviously we have to be very careful of future projections or saying anything that could be considered misleading, as this is a very heavily regulated space by ASIC. But could you tell us a little bit about your mission or your dream for this business down the track?
Yeah, so we're not allowed to mention exit plan, is that what you're saying?
You can tell us a little bit about what the dream is for the business, but no absolutes. Like
Philosophically, we want to create a platform that changes the way or improves the way that people travel and experience culture and the world, because ultimately we think that it brings the world closer. It creates empathy, cultivates empathy, cultivates tolerance. It absolutely creates inspiration. So in that space, we really think Exceptional Alien, powered by a global community of exceptional creators, can be that you continually get cultural enrichment from. What we can say is we're doing something that's unique, that a lot of the big people that might see us as acquisition targets, they can't necessarily replicate that with authenticity. You can't just turn up and go, oh, okay, we're going to do a global community now that actually really believe in everything we do, because everyone goes, no, that was all transactional. And you may have seen examples in the past where, entities like Airbnb, they've tried experiences, but they've shuttered them because people didn't really pick them up. They said, no, we like the fact that you guys give us lodging and it's convenient, great, but you don't have to go beyond that and try and provide
stick to the stuff you know.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is really focus on building the community and those exceptional experiences. And as we do that, we're really confident that we can build up the value in that, and the future of what travel can be, without overstating it. We really want to get to that point where in 2028, people are talking about, hey, I'll send you my travel playbook. And it's just a collective term, that people are using.
God, what a generous gift. You're heading overseas and someone hands you a travel playbook curated by them.
Well, it's also just convenient, right? At the end of the day, when you've been on the receiving end, I'm sure everyone on the call's been on that. Oh, hey, I heard that you went to Tokyo, and can you send me any of this? Go, where was that place? Where was my? You got to go find all the links, and you go, what was that? Yeah. But if you have a pre-packaged travel playbook, I'll send you my Tokyo travel playbook. That's the that's the place we want to get to, where people just go, oh yeah, and the recipient actually knows what a playbook is.
It's just going to get better and better. I mean, no longer you're going to have scribbles down in your notes. You'll have visuals, you'll have content. Super excited for you. Thank you so much, Justin and Michael, for such a fantastic presentation. And thank you everyone for joining us today on your lunch break. I hope you had something to eat along the way. As I mentioned, the recording of this video will be sent around to everyone who registered, just in case anyone missed out. Feel free to share that with anybody that you also think might be interested in this content. The Expression of Interest campaign for Exceptional Alien is live for another couple of weeks. If you haven't already, jump over to the Birchal platform, check out their pitch video, company profile. You might have seen a bunch of their ads floating around at the moment. You can also reach out to the guys via the platform there, and we'll make sure to get back to any of those questions that were unanswered today. So the early access offer campaign will open in just about 2 weeks. So make sure you get your expression of interest in if you'd like to have early access to all of the offer document, constitution, all of the key terms there before it opens to the public. I'll hand back to you guys to say your goodbyes, and then we will wrap up.
Okay. Well, first, thank you, Taman, for moderating. Appreciate it. And that explains why we're looking up here. We're not ignoring everybody, but there is a big lens right in front of us, so it's hard to be completely engaged in a lens that's not responding back. But we will say a sincere thank you to everybody for your interest, and we really appreciate that. It means a lot. And we're really excited about where this ride can go, and hopefully you guys will be a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Temin, and thank you again, everyone, for being part of the call today. I really appreciate your interest. We, when we say community funding, we really do mean that. So we hope that you will all be part of this community as we go forward and can be part of building Exceptional Alien on this journey. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.